Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Come on in. Let's listen to this before we get started.
You're watching The Legal Breakdown. Glenn, we have a really, really important development here. You and I have spoken at length about what happens in the event that Donald Trump asks troops or law enforcement to carry out some action that's illegal or that runs counter to their oath of office. We now have the first instance where it seems like we're actually butting up against that reality. Can you explain what happened in Illinois?
Yeah, Brian, a really important development because as an old Army guy myself, we are taught that we must obey lawful orders, but even more importantly, we must disobey unlawful orders, patently unlawful orders, and we have not heard any rumblings from...
Can you explain what happened in Illinois?
Yeah, Brian, a really important development because as an old Army guy myself, we are taught that we must obey lawful orders, but even more importantly, we must disobey unlawful orders, patently unlawful orders, and we have not heard any rumblings from the military that they have been disregarding or refusing to obey anything Trump has told them to do, including, blowing Venezuelan boats out of international waters, which clearly violates every law known to man, domestic law, international law, and military law or the law of war. Well, what we now have is an attempt by Donald Trump to federalize the Illinois State National Guard, and we may have just seen our first military pushback. I want to read a quote from some brand new reporting. The governor did not receive any calls from any federal officials. A statement from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's office read, quote, "The Illinois National Guard communicated to the Department of War," that's the Department of Defense, "that the situation in Illinois does not require the use of the military, and as a result, the governor opposes the deployment of the National Guard under any status," close quote. Brian, that's huge. I'm not going to say this is a turning point, although we'll see how history records it. But, remember when he unlawfully federalized the California National Guard and he refused to go through Governor Newsom's office as the law requires him to do? What happened? Well, the California National Guard was federalized and deployed to the streets of Los Angeles. It looks like Illinois is taking another approach. They're saying, no, the situation doesn't warrant it. You did not go through the governor's office as the law requires, and there is no factual basis to federalize the Illinois State National Guard. So as of right now, and these are rapidly developing facts and circumstances, as of right now, it looks like we have our first significant military pushback, and we'll see, what happens moving forward.
Okay, let me ask y'all something. I'm gonna let him finish. Y'all please come in. Absolutely come in hitting the like button. Please. Hi, Ronald. There is a video of Trump calling Qatar terrorists. Qatar. Oh, yeah, I showed that the other day. I showed that the other day, Janet. Yeah, he was saying they was terrorists, and Hedgepath was saying that they was signing in Utah. Yeah, I played that the other day. I thought you were here. So listen, y'all. Why would Trump right now went over and
it started with what was supposed to be
peace treaty, peace deal in foreign countries? Is he even back in the U.S.? He better be, because he did a press conference at the White House. And now he want to start a war. He want to deploy and have unpeace, unsettling peace in the States on U.S. soil. What is going on? You went over there to sign a peace deal. You have a whole plan. Woohoo! I need the Nobel Peace Prize. But you come back over here less than 24 hours. Dementia, senile, and Alzheimer's. Okay. I can't say.
Really important development because as an old Army guy myself, we are taught that we must obey lawful orders, but even more importantly, we must disobey unlawful orders, patently unlawful orders. And we have not heard any rumblings from the military that they have been disregarding or refusing to obey anything Trump has told them to do, including, blowing Venezuelan boats out of international waters, which clearly violates every law known to man, domestic law, international law, and military law, or the law of war. Well, what we now have is an attempt by Donald Trump to federalize the Illinois State National Guard, and we may have just seen our first military pushback. I want to read a quote from some brand new reporting. The governor did not receive any calls from any federal officials. A statement from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's office read, quote, the Illinois National Guard communicated to the Department of War,
I hope you had a good time.
of Defense, that the situation in Illinois does not require the use of the military, and
Middleman Meltdown is a yearly streaming-based fundraising event where we cook metal
and then
meals.
you have,
as a result,
and let me not forget, Russia is declaring World War III. But he want to send troops, guards to Illinois. I'm telling, I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. He wants the military to be on U.S. soil, not prepared to fight wars that are coming. You understand? Because he is an enemy of the state. China, I showed y'all the other day, China saying, I'm not going to start nothing, but I ain't running from nothing either. And he got one, he said, I got one that would touch every corner of Earth. Or did he say the world? One or the other. But you want to waste military time and training. Hi, Heather from the UK. Oh, it's coming after this. It's coming after this,
Governor
Christina.
opposes the deployment of the National Guard under any status, close quote. Brian, that's huge. I'm not going to say this is a turning point.
Yeah, please hit the like button.
History records it. But, remember when he unlawfully federalized the California National Guard and he refused to go through Governor Newsom's office as the law requires him to do? What happened? Well, the California National Guard was federalized and deployed to the streets of Los Angeles. It looks like Illinois is taking another approach. They're saying, no, the situation doesn't warrant it. You did not go through the governor's office as the law requires, and there is no factual basis to federalize the Illinois State National Guard. So as of right now, and these are rapidly developing facts and circumstances, as of right now, it looks like we have our first significant military pushback, and we'll see, what happens moving forward.
Glenn, what happens practically speaking? Like, I understand that you and I can talk about, okay, you can, disobey an
it's funny that you would ask that, Christina. It's funny that this is happening today.
lawful order.
Yeah.
But it's easy to say that from where we sit, from behind computer screens, whatever it may be. When you're, practically speaking, when you're faced with the prospect of following an illegal order that was inherently given by somebody higher up,
me and mine had a discussion today.
To just say no to that person, then
that's
we're
all I'm gonna say. It's
for
funny that this happened, and it's being said right now, because we woke up on what you're asking me, Christina, today and did some research today. What's PR? Public relations? Where you see PR? Yeah, I mean, you know, I just, I ain't never seen nothing like it. So it's a combination of some things going on right now. But let's listen.
What happens, like, in these real life scenarios where they actually are given an unconstitutional, illegal,
that's the
or
US.
unlawful order by somebody who's their superior? I'm assuming it's not just that
That's
easy
still the
to
US.
disregard that order. And so what happens in these instances?
So first of all, I was an Army JAG, and part of my responsibilities included not only prosecuting court-martial cases when soldiers would violate the law, whether they were military offenses or civilian-type offenses, you know, murder, rape, theft. Those are civilian-type offenses, and disobeying a lawful order, you know, going AWOL, absent without leave. You know, there were sort of uniquely military offenses too. But the other thing I did was I gave commanders advice on, for example, what orders are lawful and what orders are not lawful. And now to answer your question, it's not easy.
Well, you know what? They know what's not lawful. They know they listen.
It's not easy for a military.
I think that the military, these generals, I think that they see what's going on. I think that they have an issue also with the Epstein files. I just think that everybody, well, for the most part, blinders are off. Even those who, majority of them who don't want their blinders to be off, who still want to believe that whatever they thought they were signing up for is still in full effect, and it's not. And so the more that they try to hold on to see if he can get his act together, I mean, what is he doing? And, you know, it was one thing to be to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. But, I mean, dude, you to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. I mean, and to the left. I mean, front and back. I'm just like, okay, so what? I mean, are you with us? I mean, okay, wait a minute. This ain't making America great again. This is making foreign countries better than the U.S. I mean, what are we doing? Yeah. So it's hard, even though you want to think that it's about the left and the right, because that's how they position it. It's like, whoa. And I think the military is saying that too. This all feels like a setup. He is an enemy of the state. United States. So it's like, okay, wait. This is a plot against us. I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, and it sounds like, but hold on, let's go through this. Yeah, that's why I need for y'all to come on and hit the like button. I only have 10 likes. Almost 200 people in here. We're not going to do this today. Double tap the face of your screen if you're on the phone. Hit the 3 dots at the top right if you're on your computer. Come on, good people. Come on, good people. Let's go.
Member who is trained
what about
to
Sicily?
obey the commands, the orders
I was
given
thinking of
by
signing
their
up for that
superiors. It's
program
not
where they
easy for
pay
them
you to move
say,
there.
you know, Captain, Major, Colonel, General.
I may need to look at that
comply with that
alone.
order because it's not lawful. But here's the thing, Brian.
I didn't know they pay you to
Nobody
move there.
said military service was easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy to support and defend the Constitution.
I will say
all
this,
foreign
T-Sippers. It's time to look at a plan B. So shout out to Long for letting us know that Sicily is a country where they will pay you to move there. You know, if I was looking at some today, I'm not gonna even lie. College tuition, You know, I'm just you have to come up with a plan B. This is the U.S. is an unknown territory for I think anybody right now, and yeah, this is unfamiliar territory. Yeah, and he got dementia, they say, allegedly. So he don't know what he doing. He just want to be praised. And he's still mad at the U.S. For not re-electing him 4 or 5 years ago. Plus he greedy. Plus he had deals that he was not able to fulfill that obligation. Plus he got the Epstein files dangling over his head that's about to be released. Plus he got some rejections today. It's the Supreme Court's judgments that he picked is ruling against him. Just like a lot of stuff is going on.
And especially domestic. But nothing is more important than that oath every single member of the military takes. So whereas it might be hard, nothing, especially at this moment in our nation's history, nothing could be more important than service members obeying the laws and standing up in the event there is an unlawful order given.
Now, I want to talk about what's happening in Chicago right now, because we've already seen that an analogous situation when he deployed these troops in Los Angeles, that was shut down by a judge because his deployment didn't satisfy any of the 3 thresholds that needed to be met, which is that there was an insurrection or rebellion, there was no invasion, there was no failure of the local government to be able to effectuate its laws. And the same thing happened in Oregon, where we just had a judge in Oregon block Trump's deployment there because, again, these 3 thresholds, none of those were met. And so I'm assuming he's going to try and do the same thing in Chicago here and claim that there was some failure of the local government to be able to effectuate its laws, or that there was some invasion or insurrection or rebellion. We've seen in instance after instance that Trump's not able to meet this bar. And so what happens next as far as Chicago's is concerned, and I guess moreover beyond that, what happens to the people that he tries to deploy there, knowing that there's no basis to do so?
All good questions, and none of it has a clear answer. I assume what Donald Trump will do is he will either send a message, a missive, a threat to Illinois, to the governor, and to the National Guard, the state National Guard, that you better do this now or there's going to be hell to pay. I hope Illinois stands strong and refuses to give in to Donald Trump's lawlessness, be bullied into changing course now that they've taken a stand. And then the next thing Donald Trump could perhaps do is just go ahead and send, actual military troops, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, into Chicago, into Illinois, which, would also inspire instant legal challenges. And let's talk about what we are facing right now. Here's the backdrop against which this battle in Illinois is being fought and is unfolding. After the judge issued a temporary restraining order in Portland, Oregon, a Trump-appointed judge, I might add, because the judge concluded that Donald Trump's actions are untethered to facts, to reality. What did Donald Trump do? He ordered the California National Guard, which is still apparently federalized, to go to Portland. I mean, if that is not a direct violation of probably the rights of the California National Guard, but even setting that aside, it clearly violates in substance and in spirit the temporary restraining order that the federal judge in Oregon just issued. This being fought and is unfolding. After the judge issued a temporary restraining order in Portland, Oregon, a Trump-appointed judge, I might add, because the judge concluded that Donald Trump's actions are untethered to facts, to reality. What did Donald Trump do? He ordered the California National Guard, which is still apparently federalized, to go to Portland. I mean, if that is not a direct violation of probably the rights of the California National Guard, but even setting that aside, it clearly violates in substance and in spirit the temporary restraining order that the federal judge in Oregon just issued. This makes Donald Trump, we've heard of serial killers, a serial violator of the Constitution and of court orders. It seems like he's trying to bring our American crisis to a head, but quick. And I don't think any of this will serve him well, particularly against another important backdrop, Brian, when he and Pete Hegseth addressed all of the military's commanders and treated them like they were, middle school students who knew nothing about military service, who knew nothing about the oath that they take of loyalty to the Constitution, not to a tyrant, a dictator, or an autocrat. I actually think that may have galvanized the military against Donald Trump's lawlessness, because it was on full display that Donald Trump is completely unfit to be commander-in-chief of the armed forces when he tells the military leadership things like, I want you to use American cities as military training grounds. What does that mean? The military trains to fight and win wars. Armed forces, when he tells the military leadership things like, I want you to use American cities as military training grounds. What does that mean? The military trains unfit to be commander-in-chief of the armed forces when he tells the military leadership things like, I want you to use American cities as military training grounds. What does that mean? The military trains to fight and win wars and kill the enemy in the process. And Donald Trump told those military commanders, that's what I want you to do in American cities. And he added that the American people are the enemy from within. It doesn't surprise me that right after that horrific address to the troops, we now have for the first time some military faction, the Illinois State National Guard, standing up, pushing back, and apparently telling Donald Trump and his Secretary of Defense, no.
Well, look, this isn't out of character for Trump. We learned from his former Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, in his first term that he wanted to shoot protesters in the leg. These are people exercising their First Amendment rights, and so this is just the natural progression for someone who views himself as a wartime president, but the enemy, as far as Trump is concerned, is Americans. And through the looking glass is the only thing I can say as far as that's concerned. This is obviously a story that's continuing to develop. So for those who are watching, if you want to follow along, please make sure to subscribe. The links to both of our channels are right here on the screen. Great way to support our work. It is completely
Okay, if you're under 40, they pay you your way more. Oh, really? Well, I just pulled it up. Maybe we'll have a late night on where we options of moving, because I just pulled it up, but I got too much stuff. This podcast brother steadily running away from Trump. What? Who's running away from Trump?
Hey, this is very interesting. The Manosphere podcasters who spent years flirting with MAGA, Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Aiden Ross, Andrew
Rogan.
Schultz,
oh yes.
they are suddenly trying to pretend they were never really that into Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
It's a really interesting new piece
Oh,
of
he turned Roten.
And
hold on. I need to get to the war stuff, but Roten, he was one of the ones who, when I was speaking up earlier, who really is having a hard time coming to terms with what is going on. Yes, he is one of them that is trying to turn. Now he believes everything Candace was saying, but let's get to what's going on with these wars. But he's right. He is absolutely right. Y'all remember Bill Gates? We watched him last night.
Captain Ibrahim Traore just told Bill Gates to pack his mosquitoes and get out of Burkina Faso. Wait, what? Yes, you heard that right. The Target Malaria Project, funded by the Gates Foundation, just got the...
So he was over in Africa with injecting babies. I saw where he had a pin needle patch over there as well. a pin needle patch, and now you telling me that he had a mosquito project in Africa? What in the world is going on? We just found out over the weekend that the CO shot has a kill switch in it. They saying that the scientists have just found out, and so in 4 or 5 years you're gonna start having autoimmune issues, inflammation. I'm like, what? Yeah, but Bill Gates, Long, you wasn't here last night. Y'all please double tap and hit the like button. You wasn't here last night. Well, you may have been in the bushes. I don't know. But we came across, we watched where he is over in Africa with the babies. Babies, putting trackers in babies. Man.
The boot from West Africa. Picture this. Genetically modified mosquitoes buzzing around your neighborhood, courtesy of Silicon Valley philanthropists. Sounds like a sci.
And, what's his name, BB? Not gonna sue me? He offered them billions of dollars to go along with their New World Order and not talk about anti-Israel so much. And he turned it down. So and he refused Trump calling him saying, hey, my friend, I heard you the strongest, you the baddest in Africa. Come on down. Let me spoil you a little bit. We can do great things together. And he told him, no, I'm not taking these immigrants. You're not going to drop them off over here. I'm not going to help you. That's inhumane. No. And so he denied them visas. He's a part of why this immigration deportation stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I had him last night.
Well, it was happening in real life until August 18th, when Burkina Faso said, not today, Bill. Here's the kicker. While these GMO mosquitoes were supposed to fight malaria, locals noticed something strange. Malaria cases actually spiked between 2019 and 2021.
Let's go. Oh, I hit the volume. Oh, where's it at? Where's the volume key? What did I do? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I did. It's not playing.
Traoré just told Bill Gates to pack his mosquitoes and get out of Burkina Faso. Wait, what? Yes, you heard that right. The Target Malaria Project, funded by the Gates Foundation,
just got the boot
from West Africa. Picture this. Genetically modified mosquitoes buzzing around your neighborhood, courtesy of Silicon Valley philanthropists. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it was happening in real life until August 18th, when Burkina Faso said, not today, Bill. Here's the kicker. While these GMO mosquitoes were supposed to fight malaria, locals noticed something strange. Malaria cases actually spiked between 2019 and 2021. Coincidence? The government sealed those mosquito enclosures faster than you can say guinea pig. All samples are being destroyed. African leaders are finally waking up. When billionaires show up with briefcases and modified insects, maybe it's time to ask hard questions. Captain Ibrahim.
Yep. It's time to ask hard questions. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's really going on, y'all. This is the craziest mess I have ever seen in my life. Hold on, let's get to it. Hold on, y'all. Here it comes. I want to play them in order in which I heard them. Is it still down here? Maybe still here. No. Oh, it's this one. Okay, hold on. Where is it? I want the Russia. Isn't that what he said? Here we go. Russia. I thought Russia wasn't a problem. I thought Russia wasn't a problem.
I was listening to President Trump about his views of what is the list of achievements of U.S. intelligence, and I have my own facts on which I rely. We have been promoting for many years in the United Nations a resolution prohibiting putting any nuclear weapons into outer space. The country which is categorically against it is the United States. At the same time, the United States promotes an approach according to which they want to prohibit putting conventional weapons in outer space. And they cannot answer the question, does this mean that nuclear weapons they would be planning to move to the orbit? So my answer is very clear. We have been championing in the United Nations a legal prohibition
Helicopters flying overhead. Defog.
During the Biden administration, this was the case. They were categorically against it.
It was the Trump administration's intelligence community.
Oh, he's not a truthful guy. He don't know how to tell the truth.
Ago. Are you saying the Trump administration's intelligence community findings are incorrect in regard to Russia developing a new satellite meant to carry a nuclear weapon?
We deny.
In Kyiv, there was a large Russian attack on that capital city about 1 o'clock in the morning. President Trump has said publicly the Russian strikes are not necessary and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop, was his quote. What made it worth killing civilians when Ukraine says it's ready for a ceasefire?
We only target military goals or civilian sites used by the military.
And we don't want to talk about, we don't even want to talk about Qatar and Utah. You know, all of this is strange. I told y'all the other day, why would he be moving the military all around, you know, taking them, having them preoccupied? Why? Right now. Utah, Charlie Kirk. Helicopters flying over, flying low. Man on the roof, all black. A tactical hat on. They still really are not mentioning him. FBI is not mentioning him. So we can get hit.
For an intentional attack against civilian target. In our case, we only target those sites which are used by the military. And regarding the ceasefire and regarding the...
Oh, and let us not forget, today it was in the news earlier that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting a lot of special visitors and guests in Bryan, Texas, and the other inmates are getting upset. It's causing conflict with the other inmates, because once these special presidential type visitors come there, they go on lockdown. So after that meeting, right? Why are y'all going to Bryan, Texas for Ghislaine Maxwell, where they have to do a total shutdown of the prison? Why? They're saying, why is she getting these preferential treatments? And she is a convicted. Yeah, I mean, all of this is happening right at the same time. But some people are still wanting to play naive. Oh, okay.
Call to deals similar to the one which we are discussing now were broken by the Ukrainian regime with the strong support from European capitals and Biden administration. If you want a ceasefire just to continue supply arms to Ukraine, so what is your purpose? Right. You know what Kaya Kallas and what's his name, Mark Rutte said about the ceasefire
the NATO
and the
Secretary General
settlement.
and the European Union.
They bluntly stated that they can support only the deal which at the end of the day will make Ukraine stronger,
I would see the day
would make Ukraine a victor. So if this is the purpose of the ceasefire, I don't think this is what President Trump wants. This is what Europeans, together with Zelensky, want to make out of President Trump's initiative.
Will Russia continue targeting Kyiv despite President Trump saying, Vladimir, stop?
You're not listening to me. We will continue to target the sites used by the military of Ukraine, by some mercenaries from foreign countries, and by instructors whom the Europeans officially sent to help target Russian civilian sites. If you take a look at the situation in the Kursk region of Russia, for example, there is no single military target for the last 6 months which the Ukrainians would fire at. And there was also a proposal by President Trump, immediately supported by President Putin, to have a 1 month moratorium on the attacks on energy infrastructure. We never violated this commitment of
you are not listening to me.
Ukrainians violated Zelensky seemed to support several hundred times, and I sent to Marco Rubio and to the United Nations the list of those attacks. It's really very, very telling and eloquent.
And Ukraine disputes that, but putting that aside, I want to ask you about what President Trump said on Wednesday. The President of the United States says he thinks the U.S. and Russia have a deal. Let's get it done. Does President Putin agree?
Well, the President of the United States believes, and I think rightly so, that we are moving in the right direction. The statement by the President mentions a deal, and we are ready to reach a deal, but there are still some specific points, elements of this deal which need to be fine-tuned, and we are busy with this exact process. And the President of the United States did not spell out the elements of the deal,
so he wasn't clear. So Trump half-ass made a deal, but then telling us, "Oh, we cool, we got this, we got a deal, everything is all right," you know. But he didn't complete it. He didn't spell it out. He left it open. So he playing all around. He playing each person front, back, side to side. You got issues over here. You done already started something. Hell, I thought you got issues already. And you over there doing peace. Yeah, because you wanted a Nobel Peace Prize. You wanted a prize. So you forced this. This shit is staged. This is staged. You just thought they was going to go ahead and give it to you. But then you got these other countries who ain't playing. I ain't playing with you. Okay, let's. And so they are plotting. They are plotting behind Trump. That's why China said, okay, you can play if you want to. You can play if you want to. I'ma clear it all out. I'ma clear it all out.
To get out of this crisis, you cannot just forget about human rights. Whenever we discuss Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, anything, American negotiators put on top human rights. They have claims in this regard to China, to us, to anybody. But whenever Europeans and other Western nations speak about Ukraine, nobody can mumble the words human rights. Just nobody. On the contrary, what Ursula von der Leyen and other people in Brussels and in Europe say that Ukraine is defending the European values. So one of these values is canceling the Russian language. Imagine if Israel canceled. Imagine if Israel canceled Arabic language in Palestine. Just imagine.
Yeah. You mentioned that the U.S. and Russia need to work on some of these fine points of a deal.
Yeah, you want the fine points to be spelled out?
Well, of course, I'd love that, but my question was...
This is not the way we...
U.S. first. Trump is not putting U.S. first.
Really just kind of a list of bullet points.
Hey, Joanne.
Does Russia have the details you need at this point in terms of a formal proposal?
We are really polite people, and unlike some others, we never discuss in public what is being discussed in negotiations. Otherwise, negotiations are not serious. To ask for somebody's opinion regarding the substance, go to Zelensky. He is happy to talk to anybody through media, even to President Trump. He presents his claims. We are serious. We are serious people, and we can.
Have they said anything about the three Qatar guys that was? They said taken out yesterday. They don't went on with what they had going on. Have they mentioned them today?
See the serious proposals. We make serious proposals, and this is a process which is not supposed to be public until the end of it.
Okay, so no deal is imminent.
I didn't say this. Now I understand, by the way, why you wanted to get brief answers to your questions. You want some slogans to be in the
No, the President of the United States said there was a deal with Russia, so I wanted to ask Russia if there is a deal with the United States.
Well,
I just want to be clear.
We made our comments on this statement. The negotiations continue, and until the end of the negotiations, we cannot disclose what it is about.
Okay. The National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, said last month that President Trump is asking for thousands of Ukrainian children who were taken into Russia to be released now as part of what he called confidence-building measures. What steps has Russia taken to meet Mr. Trump's request?
Look, long before the request coming from Washington, we have been addressing the issue of the fate of the kids who, during the conflict, found themselves outside their homes, outside their families. Most of these kids were attending what you call it, the place where people without parents orphanage. And as soon as we announce whatever details we have about those kids, and as soon as the parents or other relevant relatives make themselves available, they are getting the kids back. This has been the process for the last almost 3 years between the ombudsman of Russia and Ukraine.
So there's no new release of thousands of Ukrainian children at the request of President Trump?
No, there was nobody knows why some experts advise the president about thousands of Ukrainian children. Every now and then, once in 2-3 months, we organize exchanges with Ukrainians with the help of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, who do not, make any noise about what they're doing. They just do something which we are participating in a very constructive manner, bringing kids back to their parents or relatives.
But what confidence-building measure can Russia offer now, particularly after this strike in Kyiv, where the President of the United States is saying, Vladimir, stop? How do you convince the United States that Russia is actually serious about peace?
Who were killed
Well,
now.
confidence-building measures have been plentiful in the last 10 years. I mentioned a deal in February.
The strike was overnight.
You want a brief answer, right? As I understand from your initial words. Or you want an answer which is explaining the situation. The
Hold
proposal
on,
by
cuz
President Trump on
he mad, ain't he? Hold on, y'all.
moratorium on this.
Hold on, let me turn over here. Hey, Grateful. So did China just reject? Hold on. He over in the Middle East getting his back, oh, congratulations, Ultra. Oh, I'm a part of something. They accept me now. And shit is falling apart. Hold on. Hold on. He don't know what he's doing no way, but hold on.
For years. As a result, one of Russia's last major revenue streams is now collapsing. China's latest move may have just killed Russia's failing economy.
No, wasn't Russia? Oh no, I don't remember now. Are they allies? Or were they? I thought China was siding with Russia. Right? I don't remember. Hold on. Let's listen.
That may sound like a dramatic statement, but it's not an exaggeration. Recently, Beijing quietly ended China's latest move may have just killed Russia's failing economy. That may sound like a dramatic statement, but it's not an exaggeration. Recently, Beijing quietly ended a hidden subsidy system that had kept Moscow's key export market alive for years. As a result, one of Russia's last major revenue streams is now collapsing. In this video, we'll show you how China canceled what was essentially a bailout to Russia's war-struck economy.
Yeah, so that decision
upsets Russia's monetary base. Why Putin now finds himself stranded and exposed. Let's start with what actually changed. In September, China ended its unofficial subsidies for the state-owned companies importing copper and nickel from Russia. I say unofficial because these subsidies have never been announced publicly. They operated quietly as rebates and discounts, making it cheaper for Chinese firms to buy Russian metal, which they did in large quantities. This allowed them to pay less for the metals, resell at normal prices, and pocket the difference. It was a simple arrangement. You help me, I help you. And because of this, Russia's metal industry received a backdoor boost that kept it competitive on the global market. The subsidies weren't just helpful, they were the backbone of Russia's metals industry. For years, they acted like an invisible bridge, keeping exports alive when most of the world had slammed its doors shut. When Europe and the United States imposed sanctions, Russia lost access to its key markets almost overnight. Western companies stopped buying Russian metals, including copper and nickel. The London Metal Exchange and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange banned Russian metals entirely. Overnight, China became the only major buyer still willing to pick up the phone. But China didn't just buy. It quietly kept the entire system breathing with its financial incentives that made the deals profitable even when the risks were high. Those hidden perks kept Russian factories humming, miners paid, and the ruble from sinking even faster. In truth, it wasn't a partnership. It was life support disguised as trade. So, when Beijing decided to pull the plug this past September, it wasn't just cutting costs, it was sending a message. China no longer wanted to carry Russia's struggling export economy on its back. At the risk of sounding like a bad romance song, to understand what Russia just lost, you need to first appreciate what it had. The numbers tell the story very clearly here. Earlier this year, Russia saw a sharp rise in metal exports to China. Copper sales jumped by 66%, and nickel shipments more than doubled compared to the same period the year before. This system was so effective that at one point, Russian aluminum was selling more than 20% below global market rates. Looking at these figures, you don't need to be a genius to figure out that the Chinese subsidies were very effective. They thoroughly created a win-win setup. Russia kept its factories running and its export numbers strong. China secured cheap raw materials for its industries. But now, all of that is gone, and Beijing is quietly stepping back. Officially, no one is saying why, but still, it's not hard to see what's going on. On paper, China doesn't want to rely too heavily on a country that's locked out of major global markets. The Chinese economy has its own challenges to manage, and keeping Moscow afloat isn't a priority. By cutting these subsidies,
stop buying generic Viagra if you're over 60. You qualify for 9 tablets of 100 milligram generic Viagra.
China is shielding its own industries.
Hey y'all, listen, I'm just getting a message from Stop Playing. Y'all, if you're a believer in Jesus Christ and you have a personal relationship with him, keep her lifted. Keep her lifted. We're asking and praying God for healing.
From price swings and supply risks, and in the process, it's letting Russia sink. However, there's also another not-so-discussed reason. Simply put, Russia is a mess, and China does not want to be dragged down with it. We'll discuss this angle more in just a couple of minutes.
So
but as you might imagine, the impact of this decision...
China's saying, I'm not finna beg the U.S. for nothing. I'm gonna move around with whatever I normally get with you, with your terrorists. You playing in our face. You power struggling. So I'm gonna get my soybean, soy soup, soybean, soy, tofu, so whatever soy. I'm getting it someplace else. I ain't playing with y'all. Kind of like Abraham. He was like, listen, they not finna dangle carrots over our heads. They not finna make us do nothing. They gonna accept no when we say no, and yes when we accept yes. If not, we can make our own Afro coins. Okay? Y'all got something going over there. I'm not playing with none of that. That's what's happening, y'all. And that's gonna leave us in a very uncompromising position, because this clown over here gloating on cloud 9 because they acting like they like him now, like he really done something, and this is just a plot. This is just all a part of the plan. This is about the second time I done heard a country say they act like they were our allies, but really they was in business with the ops. Yeah. So they just not buying it no more. So when I see him over there, he done had a meeting with Putin. He done been having 50 million meetings with, not gonna sue me, Netanyahu. I know. Netanyahu, whatever. So y'all playing this, especially when folk was beginning to blame Israel for Charlie. But they're saying now that BB feeling betrayed. Said Israel is not winning, and the deal that he made for them was not, I guess, in their favor. Yeah, so let's keep listening. But y'all got to get my likes up. Double tap. Come on. Tap, tap, tap.
And has been immediate. Without the discounts, Russian metals have become more expensive and less appealing. Almost overnight, they have simply lost their edge. This has led Chinese buyers to start looking elsewhere, turning to suppliers in Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. These regions offer cheaper labor, fresh reserves, and fewer political risks. And once buyers shift, it's hard to win them back. This leaves Russia now stuck with overpriced metals and fewer customers. The same copper and nickel that were moving fast earlier this year are now sitting in warehouses. Exporters are struggling to close deals. Profits are shrinking. And in global trade, when you lose your price advantage, you lose your place in the market. That's exactly what's happening. For the Kremlin, this is more than a trade hiccup. This is a blow to the core of its post-sanction survival plan. Since 2022, when Western markets slammed shut, Russia has been leaning heavily on China to buy what no one else would. Metals, oil, gas,
Hold on,
timber,
let me get to his
basically
emergency
everything that
meeting.
could still be moved across borders found its way to Chinese ports. Beijing became the lifeline that made it possible for Moscow to keep boasting about record exports despite isolation. But now, as China keeps pulling back, those record numbers are beginning to evaporate. If this sounds like a story of gradual collapse, well, that's because it is.
Okay,
Though
so
Russia
hold on,
isn't
y'all.
going to fall apart overnight.
So yesterday we heard China talk about they 61 weapons that they got, and one that cover it from corner to corner. And now I'm just now seeing this. This was dated on the 10th. Why they talking about it's been declared? Hold on.
Sophisticated nature. And we are actively developing all of this. What I said in previous times, in previous years, is all being developed. We are perfecting it, and I think we will have the opportunity to announce in the near future a new weapon that we once announced. It is emerging, undergoing tests here, and those tests are going successfully.
As is already known, you have proposed extending the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, which is set to expire very soon on February 26th of this year. And judging by the initial statements out of Washington, it seems that Trump is not opposed. Are there any signals?
Yeah, because I'm going to shut it down. What down?
Is indeed ready to engage in such consultations. Will 4 months be enough to get all of this done in time? And am I correct in understanding that a new face-to-face meeting will be required? A meeting between you and your American counterpart?
Thank you. We do have contact through the Foreign Ministry and the State Department. Will these few months be enough to make a decision on the extension? I think it will be sufficient, provided there is genuine goodwill to extend these agreements. And if the American side decides that they don't need this, it's not critical for us at all. Everything is going according to plan for us in this regard. I've already mentioned this, and it's no secret. The truly remarkable and significant novelty of our current nuclear deterrence capabilities indeed surpasses that of any other major global nuclear state in the world, especially when it comes to their advanced and sophisticated nature. And we are actively developing all of this. What I said in previous times, in previous years, is all being developed. We are perfecting it, and I think we will have the opportunity to announce in the near future a new weapon that we once announced. It is emerging, undergoing tests here, and those tests are going successfully. As for the intercontinental component at sea and in the air, I repeat, the novelty and modernity, as the military say, are at a very high level for us.
You know he tells stories.
We are ready to negotiate if, for the American side, this will be acceptable and beneficial. If not, then not. But it would be a pity, because then there would be nothing left at all in terms of deterrence in the field of strategic offensive arms. To link the Nobel Peace Prize with arms supplies is absurd and simply speaks to the overall level of understanding of the current Kiev regime as a whole.
You mentioned that one of the countries is preparing to test nuclear weapons. Please tell me, is this country the United States? If, as you said, Russia gives a symmetrical response and also tests nuclear weapons, will not this set our countries and all of humanity back to the 1990s, when the whole world stopped testing nuclear weapons, and will not this provoke a new nuclear arms race between Moscow and Washington?
Thank you. I think that in reality, to be honest, there is a certain arms race going on. Whether this will set us back or not, it's hard to say. But I did not say that the United States is preparing for this. So that some countries are preparing for tests, But this is also well known to.
So is he saying United States?
Always the temptation to check the effectiveness of the warhead fuel stored in missiles. To live. For many years,
he mad at Trump.
Been simulated on computers. Specialists believe that's sufficient, but some of these specialists think that real-life tests should be conducted. And in some countries, as far as we know, they're even preparing for this. So I said that if they conduct such tests, we will do the same. Well, is this good or bad? From the standpoint of ensuring security, it's good in terms of the overall picture related.
Hey, Carly. Arion. I don't know. Boss
Any
itch.
actions aimed at, if not reducing, then at least restraining the arms race. Well, that's probably not a bad
Lord,
thing.
please protect us. I
But
agree.
in this same context, there's also our proposal to extend the New START treaty for at least 1 year.
Sound like they moving on without him, don't he? He said, I didn't say President Trump. I didn't say that. Ain't that what he said?
Start to see the fruits of her labor. And Pam, maybe you could say a few words about
Hold on, let me see
what
if
we're
I
talking about here.
Hold on, let me see if I can back this up.
And out west, the Presidio and the Golden Gate. It's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And,
So this was an emergency break-in.
When you take a look at numbers, I just saw some chart on you. If you buy oil from Russia, that was and I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything.
What? Let's go back.
Never seen anything like it. But they turned our nation's capital into a sanctuary jurisdiction. That's the other thing. We have to get rid of sanctuary cities as quickly as possible. We're going to do it, too. We have to. Because it's sanctuary for criminals. Releasing illegal alien gang members onto the streets in 2022, nearly 70% of criminals...
Why did he pardon the guys that, in that insurrection? Why did he pardon them? He's so concerned about the criminals. Turn up shit. Why did he pardon them? Yeah, I need to go back to the beginning.
Federal Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. There was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show.
Hey, exclusive.
This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government.
To become an ICE agent.
To America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad. Very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this.
J.D. Vance signaling.
And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C. and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of
now I wonder if this was done live today. I thought he was in the Middle East. How they doing this? If this was done live, how are they doing this? And he's supposed to be in the Middle East. Oh yes, sir, Bryant. This was live. This was breaking news. Trump declares urgent emergency. But I thought he was in the Middle East. Make that make sense.
Thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking. He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it. In June, a 21-year-old congressional
he wants. Oh yes, he wants a war. Oh, absolutely. I've been telling y'all that.
A former Trump administration official named
he want all of that under his watch, and then he gonna come back and try to ask for peace so he can get a Nobel Peace Prize.
We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife.
You see what on the news now?
To the car. A Democrat
That he want
congressman
war?
was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and
what you see?
head
He don't want you
by a
to
demented
he
lunatic
don't
as he
want
walked
to.
down the street.
Oh yeah, I heard something
Absolutely for
about
no
8 Year
reason.
East.
Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the
Trump
Capitol.
advisor melts down.
It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums too. We have slums
It
here.
say
We're getting
war
rid
is
of them.
imminent.
I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. They're in ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well.
See, he worried about this bull crap right here, but look.
They're either moving aerial tankers from Europe, from the United States to Europe, then from Europe to other, and
just like they did before the last attack.
Yeah. What is that? Do you think? Are we gonna? How close are we to the war between the two?
Bibi, you probably know this. Bibi went back to Israel, and after telling Donald Trump that everything was copacetic with the ceasefire deal and the ultimate end of the war in Gaza, he went back in Hebrew and told everybody no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
The war's going on. The IDF's going to kill them all. We're going to finish the war. So that duplicitous lying sack of proverbial horse turd is doing it again. Why? Because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. He's not going to have to talk to Donald Trump. He's not going to have to apologize. He's not going to have to get out on bended knee. He wouldn't anyway. He kept his coalition together, which he probably wouldn't have done had he come back and said what he said to Trump about agreeing. And he knows he's going to war with Iran. And he knows the United States is going to follow him. That's going to obviate, that's going to cancel everything he said or promised to Trump. So he doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Premium is ad-free YouTube.
I told y'all, but before that, when he agreed, he said that in his in Hebrew that he lied.
To war, Nima. We're going to war.
He called him harsh shit. That's what he meant. Did he really? Because that's what they say. Look at all of this.
What is the main objective in your opinion?
Well, first of all, and overriding everything else, is preservation of Bibi Netanyahu's coalition and Bibi Netanyahu, period. His power and his position. That's the first objective.
Y'all get the lights up. I'm shut it down.
The United States from causing him to have to do something he doesn't want to do with respect to Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, and elsewhere, I fear. I'm hearing from contacts in Baghdad, for example, that they're getting ready to go to war as well.
Oh, wow. Battery 10%. Now y'all want me to hold it. Hold this here and y'all don't want to hit the like button.
Remnants of the forces in Lebanon, which mostly are Hezbollah, are ready to go. I'm hearing there are elements elsewhere in the region that might enter the fray with air power. Think Saudi Arabia, think Qatar, for example. So, and I'm also hearing, and this is very disturbing, and I don't know exactly how to take it, but I'm hearing from people who met with Rezaian, the president, and met with other Iranians in New York, not only that they have changed the fatwa from one that bans weapons to one that
y'all see this?
bans the use of nuclear.
Hey, Janet, y'all see this? Thank you, Janet.
For them to go ahead and build one.
I absolutely like.
If they haven't already.
As soon as I heard your voice, thank you.
That they're not going to just attack Israel. They're going to attack other assets in the region. And that's the way it was put to me. And
oh, wow.
The question, do you mean Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait? What? No. I mean U.S. facilities in those countries.
U.S. facilities.
U.S. outright.
They gonna do what? Oh, my God.
Is that meant to be a deterrent? Is it meant to be a...
So you mean why this orange pumpkin head clown over there in the Middle East gloating farting and shitting all over the place, grinning and skinning. Somebody went off on him. I can't get to that yet because so much other stuff is happening, right? The colonels and generals. Hold on, y'all. I gotta sit this down. Well, I can at least let y'all hear it. Get the lights up.
That might enter the fray.
This is crazy.
Think Saudi Arabia, think Qatar, for example. So, and I'm also hearing, and this is very disturbing, and I don't know exactly how to take it, but I'm hearing from people who met with Epstein, the president, and met with other Iranians in New York. Not only that they have changed the fatwa from one that bans nuclear weapons to one that bans the use of nuclear weapons, which sort of clears the way for them to go ahead and build one, if they haven't already. And I'm also hearing that they're not going to just attack Israel. They're going to attack other assets in the region. And that's the way it was put to me. And I asked the question, do you mean Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait? What? No, I mean U.S. facilities in those countries. So they're going to attack the U.S. outright.
They're going to attack the U.S. outright.
Is that meant to be a deterrent? Is it meant to be a bluff? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they've had it, if they're fed up with this. And
they fed up.
Does commence the war again in a serious way, that it's all over for Israel. Plus, they will do the damage that they can to the United States facilities in the region. And they can do a lot of damage, a hell of a lot of damage.
Oh my God.
That they could sink an aircraft carrier if it were in range of one of their high velocity missiles, or spread those missiles, is, I would say, 60 to 70% of possibility. And then we're off to the races, Nima. I mean, we're off to a regional war. One wonders what Russia and China will do if this starts in that flagrant,
Russia and China,
overwhelming way.
Did we hear about China yesterday? Didn't we hear that man? Y'all remember what? Lord.
What will they do?
So, what's this story of a peace plan? What is he trying to get by the peace plan? Is that some sort of cover for what they're doing?
Okay, so
the one Bibi allegedly signed up to. Well, I think that's ultimately Tony Blair. That's essentially Tony Blair running some sort of consortium that will make Gaza, into the thing Trump wants to make it into. A huge enterprise that will make money.
We used to have them.
Maybe it has a patina of a potential for a dual state eventually, in order to satisfy the members of the Abraham support and get them back into it. I don't think it's going to work. And I know it's not going to work with what Bibi went back and said in Hebrew.
Okay, let me bring it over here.
I didn't mean any of that.
I did.
We are going to continue this war.
I saw that. I got that over there.
His coalition and Bibi Netanyahu, period. His power and his position. That's the first objective. The second objective is to keep the United States from causing him to have to do something he doesn't want to do with respect to Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, and elsewhere, I fear. I'm hearing from contacts in Baghdad, for example, that they're getting ready to go to war as well. I'm hearing that Egypt might be on the war path also.
Ain't that where the 3 men in Qatar got, yep, he was in Egypt.
Remnants of the forces in Lebanon, which mostly are Hezbollah. Remnants of the forces in Lebanon, which mostly are Hezbollah.
What?
Are ready to go. I'm hearing there are elements elsewhere in the region that might enter the fray with air power. Think Saudi Arabia, think Qatar, for example. So, and I'm also hearing, and this is very disturbing, and I don't know exactly how to take it, but I'm hearing from people who met with Epstein, the president, and met with other Iranians in New York. Not only that they have changed the fatwa from one that bans nuclear weapons to one that bans the use of nuclear weapons, which sort of clears the way for them to go ahead and build one, if they haven't already. And I'm also hearing that they're not going to just attack Israel. They're going to attack other assets in the region. And that's the way it was put to me. And I asked the question, do you mean Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait? What? No, I mean U.S. facilities in those countries. So they're going to attack the U.S. outright. Yes. Is that meant to be a deterrent? Is it meant to be a bluff? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they've had it, if they're fed up with this, and if Israel does commence the war again in a serious way, that it's all over for Israel, plus they will do the damage that they can to the United States facilities in the region. And they could do a lot of damage, a hell of a lot of damage. That they could sink an aircraft carrier if it were in range of one of their high-velocity missiles, or spread of those missiles, is, I would say, 60 to 70% a possibility. And then we're off to the races, Nima. I mean, we're off to a regional war. One wonders what Russia and China will do if this starts in that flagrant, overwhelming way. What will they do?
So, what's this story of peace plan? What is he trying to get by the peace plan? Is that some sort of cover for what they're doing?
The one Bibi allegedly signed up to? Well, I think that's ultimately Tony Blair. That's essentially Tony Blair running some sort of consortium that will make Gaza, into the thing Trump wants to make it into. A huge enterprise that will make money and so forth and so on. And maybe it has a patina of a potential for a dual state eventually in order to satisfy the members of the Abraham Accord and get them back into it. I don't think it's going to work. And I know it's not going to work with what Bibi went back and said in Hebrew, which was, I didn't mean any of that. We are going to continue this war. We're going to continue it until Hamas is exterminated. The hostages be damned. He didn't say that, but that's essentially what was implied. And I know I'm safe, at least for the interim, because I'm going to war with Iran, and the United States will have no choice but to come in with me.
Larry, maybe I'm so much pessimist about what Donald Trump is doing, but it seems to me that Donald Trump has came out by this sort of plan. He has come out by this plan because of Netanyahu's position in Israel. Because those people who are putting a lot of pressure on Netanyahu and his administration about the hostages.
Right.
And they're trying to tell those people, so we are trying to do everything. Look at Donald Trump. He put out a peace plan. They're not going to sign for it.
No.
We have to continue the conflict. They're somehow legitimizing what Netanyahu is doing in.
I think Netanyahu wrote the hostages off a long time ago. I really do. I don't think he gives a damn about them. And he doesn't give a damn about them because he feels like they're an impediment to his finishing the job, as it were.
After all, Larry, if something now, you mentioned Iran would attack the U.S. bases in the Middle East, but isn't that somehow strange? That do you think that Turkey knows what's going on there? Do they really care about what's going on in the Middle East? What is the role of Turkey?
Turkey is a NATO member, the staunch anchor of the southern flank of NATO, which is
hey everybody that came in
because NATO's falling apart.
Tia,
I think Erdogan, given his previous performance and all this debacle that's happening around him, would just sit there and watch. I don't think he's going to. Now, were Israel to start to topple, seriously topple, fall into chaos, Jews going everywhere, I mean, that's what you're going to have. I found out the other day, Nima, that over 1.5 million Jews have already left Israel. 1.5 million, with all the strictures that Netanyahu has put on travel, still 1.5 million have had enough money or enough connection to get out. In that event, if it were completely collapsing and it weren't nuclear, Erdogan might move. But that's the only way that guy will move.
Do you, when it comes to the defense treaty between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, is it gonna...
Good question. Good question. Ask it.
How is that going to play out?
Very good question, because I think that's probably signed in blood. And it's probably signed in blood not necessarily with the civilian leadership, but with the ISI and the Pakistani military.
Can you take a second? Yeah, y'all hit
both that more or less looks over nuclear weapons.
I need 50 likes. Double tap the face of your screen. Okay. Double tap, double tap. Double tap, double tap. There's 3 dots at the top right on your computer or tablet. Click that, it'll take you to the likes. I need that taken care of so that I don't have to keep stopping for the likes. Because every time I turn around, something else is popping up. Just spell her part as Epstein bomb shocker. Can y'all double tap? Come on. They lied to us. Yep, billions were made. Doctor exposed the COVID vaccine lies. It's a lot going on, y'all. You know, and that's the funny thing about it. He knows all the stuff that's about to hit. All the disasters that are about to hit.
Vaccinated force you to reveal your public medical information, or you're unable to provide for your family. That's a very different thing, and yet complete silence.
Yeah, that COVID is an issue.
So if we're gonna go forward, I think
they said UK.
Hey, welcome back into Occupy Democrats on a Manic Monday. And just when Donald Trump thought that everything he could possibly do by crying about the Nobel Peace Prize or thinking for now he's solved Middle East peace or any other problem he's using as a distraction, that the Epstein files would go away, whoopsie poop, he would be wrong. And why is that? In this breaking story, I'm going to show you in a few seconds, because his good buddy, Prince...
Good evening, America.
Get the lights up.
Top 3 mascara problems and how to solve them. 1.
Get the lights up.
2. Clumpy lashes. 3
seconds, because his...
Double tap.
Good buddy, Prince Andrew, you know, that guy from the royal family, he just can't seem to get his story straight, and this is going to wind up causing Donald Trump major problems. Check out this sound real quick.
Well, Prince Andrew is breaking his silence on his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew denies any inappropriate behavior at Epstein's home, but also admits he let the royal family down.
Yeah, this picture's a bit of a real problem for him. This is the most damning photograph of Prince Andrew.
Check out this sound, because his good buddy, Prince Andrew, you know, that guy from the royal family, he just can't seem to get his story straight, and this is going to wind up causing Donald Trump major problems. Check out this sound real quick.
Well, Prince Andrew is breaking his silence on his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew denies any inappropriate behavior at Epstein's home, but also admits he let the royal family down.
Yeah, this picture's a bit...
How you let him down if you didn't do nothing?
This is the most damning photograph of Prince Andrew. Next to him is Virginia Roberts, just 17 at the time and underage.
Yeah, they've been at the prison.
Prince Andrew, allegations around him regarding his friendship with the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, it's more than drip, drip, drip.
She says the prince had sex with her 3 times at Jeffrey Epstein's properties.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it.
But Buckingham Palace denies the allegations. Now Prince Andrew is on royal damage control, speaking for the first time about the allegations with the BBC's Emily Maitlis.
I mean, just check out the look on his face. You know he probably isn't telling the truth.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
The recent allegations at the end of last year around the alleged Chinese spy Yang Tambo, it is just always quite negative, slightly murky stuff that swirls around Andrew.
The prince's friendship with Epstein dates back to the late 90s. Here they are in Central Park in 2010.
I mean, not to mention, the guy was seeing the house of Epstein.
Around the same time, a man appearing to be Andrew waves goodbye to a young woman from Epstein's Manhattan mansion.
Oh, yeah, that's
As you were just hearing in the news there have been these sensational developments in the Prince Andrew story where evidence has emerged to suggest that Andrew apparently maintained contact with Jeffrey Epstein 2 months after he claimed to have ended contact with him.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted ex-offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times.
Well, I'll do Reagan. I just can't recall.
At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one can have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do.
But that's not even the real problem in this breaking story. The real problem is we know he's not telling the truth because the Sun just uncovered emails to prove that Prince Andrew was lying. And this is the story. Check this out. Breaking news, in quotes, leave the country.
Hold on.
Oil expert tells...
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I need 30 likes. Come on, y'all. Come on. Oh my God. Yeah, listen. I don't believe that he don't know that all of this was coming out at this time. There's just too much stuff happening back to back. It's enough to drive a sane person batty, let alone somebody who ain't sane. Leave the country. Tells Prince to flee. The new Epstein revelations. You don't think Trump knows something's coming? If a royal expert is saying, hey, you, pop, somebody done already scratched you up. Popped you. Did you pop his ass? Did you put your nails in him like, how could you? You done made all these lines and wrinkles come on my face. Yeah. Leave the country. To flee before the new Epstein revelation. You told Epstein. Yeah. Yeah. It's coming out. It's coming out. I believe he knows. He's saying he don't care about no war. He just said yesterday that he don't think he can make it to heaven. We went over there yesterday. So he don't care nothing about being a Christian. We was talking about it today and I was like, okay, so he could, man, let me get out this country. He ain't even making no attempts to get his life right with Christ. He just said, I do not think it ain't nothing I can do to get through them pearly gates. I know all of, so if y'all gonna, end this thing, end it. It don't matter to me. I'm going to hell. You understand? Let's finish listening to this.
Prince Andrew to flee amid new Epstein revelations. Prince Andrew this out.
I need 30 likes.
Quotes, leave the country.
Royal expert tells Prince Andrew to flee amid new Epstein revelations. Prince Andrew has been advised to leave the country after the latest revelation about his links to the late ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein. Newly revealed emails apparently between King Charles' younger brother and the disgraced financier show Andrew saying, in quotes, "We are in this."
Between King Charles.
Him with teenage abuse victim Virginia Giuffre was first published in 2011.
Y'all see that? King Charles. Who in the hell is King Charles? Oh, them boys' daddy. That old man that was married to Diana. Oh, he know too? He done had newly revealed emails apparently between King Charles' younger brother and the disgraced financier. Who is Charles? Is that Charles? Lord.
Between King Charles' younger brother and the disgraced financier, which leave the country. Royal expert tells Prince Andrew to flee amid new Epstein revelations. Prince Andrew has been advised to leave the country after the latest revelation about his links to the late ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein. Newly revealed emails apparently between King Charles' younger brother and the disgraced financier show Andrew saying, in quotes, "We are in
I
this
can't
together,"
imagine,
after an
D-Frog.
infamous photo of him with teenage abuse victim Virginia Giuffre was first published in 2011. The Sun's royal editor Matt Wilkinson urged him to leave Britain. In quote, "If he has an honorable bone in his own body, he should leave the country," Wilkinson wrote. The email, released by The Sun on Sunday, conflicts with an interview the Duke of York gave to the BBC stating that he had ceased contact with the convicted child ex-offender by February 28, 2011, when the photo of him, Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell was first made public. The email, released by The Sun on Sunday, conflicts with an interview the Duke of York gave to the BBC stating that he had ceased contact with the convicted child ex-offender by February 28, 2011, when the photo of him, Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell was first made public. The Duke also urged Epstein in that email to, in quotes, "keep in close touch," and expressed a wish to, in quotes, "play some more soon." Andrew's Jeffrey Epstein scandal will not go away, so maybe it's finally time the arrogant Duke did, Wilkinson wrote. In quotes, the palace had let it be known that Andy should at the very least uninvite himself for Christmas with the family. But the notion that he is capable of using his best judgment for the wider benefit of himself and his family is naive and laughable. The Duke gave up his official duties in 2019 due to the Epstein scandal and is no longer a working royal, but he continues living at the Royal Lodge, and the government, not the king, has the power to strip his title. In quotes, the late Queen and now King have tried everything to punish the Duke, but are now left with few levers to pull, Wilkinson wrote. It is now clear Andrew's Newsnight interview was not only a car crash, but not completely candid either.
Yes, every bit of that. And whether Donald Trump likes it or not, he is intrinsically tied to the triangle of himself, Prince Andrew, and Jeffrey Epstein. And this, right on the precipice of the No Kings protest coming up on the 18th, Trump is now going to have all of this Epstein push and all of the Epstein client list stuff come right back to the very top of what matters to the American people. And as Charlie Kirk actually said, how about we just see all the Epstein files? Yeah, how about we do?
How about they got him along with denouncing Israel removed? Did y'all get this? I told y'all a whole bunch is happening.
Isn't telling the truth.
I have no recollection of ever meeting
You lying piece
none whatsoever.
of shit.
The recent allegations at the end of last year around the alleged Chinese spy Yang Tambo, it is just always quite negative, slightly murky stuff that swirls around, Andrew.
The prince's friendship with Epstein dates back to the late 90s. Here they are in Central Park in
It's coming, y'all.
I mean, not to mention, the guy was seeing the house of Epstein.
Around the same time, a man appearing to be Andrew waves goodbye to a young woman from Epstein's Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, that's him.
As you were just hearing in the news there have been these
That's him, wasn't it him?
in the Prince Andrew story, where evidence has emerged to suggest that Andrew apparently maintained contact with Jeffrey Epstein 2 months after he claimed to have ended contact with him.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted ex-offender.
it was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times.
Well, I'll do Reagan. I just can't recall.
At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one can have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do.
But that's not even the real problem in this breaking story. The real problem is we know he's not telling the truth because the Sun just uncovered emails to prove that Prince Andrew was lying. And this is the story. Check this out.
Breaking news, in quotes, leave the country. Royal expert tells Prince Andrew to flee amid new Epstein revelations. Prince Andrew has been advised to leave the country after the latest revelation about his links to the late ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein. Newly revealed emails apparently between King Charles' younger brother and the disgraced financier show Andrew saying,
leave the
"We're
country.
in this together," after an infamous photo of him with teenage abuse victim Virginia Giuffre was first published in 2011. The Sun's royal editor Matt Wilkinson urged him to leave Britain. End quote. If he has an honorable bone in his own body, he should leave the country, Wilkinson wrote. The email, released by The Sun on Sunday, conflicts with an interview the Duke of York gave to the BBC.
No wonder Trump on the run. You're right. Too much going on.
Convicted child ex-offender by February 28, 2011, when the photo of him, Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell was first made public. On Sunday, conflicts with an interview the Duke of York gave to the BBC, stating that he had ceased contact with the convicted child ex-offender by February 28, 2011, when the photo of him, Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell was first made public. The Duke also urged Epstein in that email to, in quotes, keep in close touch.
So, Janet, you see why they was having meetings at the prison? Too many, so many, a lot of them. I wondered if she released this information. Where did the Sun Times should have kept his mouth? That's why the people at the prison is saying too many people are coming, and when they come, they have, for whatever reason, the whole prison got to go on lockdown. Who are the people that's coming in that requires, and they're coming too much because the prisoners are complaining about that she's getting preferential treatment. Keith, I thought I removed you. There you go, permanent. Don't come back. Please don't come back. Special meals. No, probably because, I would think that because she is special or whatever, and my family can't come see me. I can't, move around like I normally move around because this heifer, y'all done moved her here. She should, and she shouldn't even be here. And I can't move around the way I want to move around like I normally was moving around before she came. Oh no. And who are these people? They not regular visitors. Because why would they have to lock down the whole prison? She know he nasty ass and is guilty. Yeah.
And expressed a wish to, in quotes, play some more soon. Andrew's Jeffrey Epstein scandal will not go away, so maybe it's finally time the arrogant Duke did, Wilkinson wrote. In quotes, the palace had let it be known that Andy should at the very least uninvite himself for Christmas with the family. But the notion that he is capable of using his best judgment for the wider benefit of himself and his family is naive and laughable. The Duke gave up his official duties in 2019 due to the Epstein scandal and is no longer a working royal, but he continues living at the Royal Lodge, and the government, not the king, has the power to strip his title. In quotes, the late Queen and now King have tried everything to punish the Duke, but are now left with few levers to pull, Wilkinson wrote. It is now clear Andrew's Newsnight interview was not only a car crash, but not completely candid either.
Yes, every bit of that. And whether Donald Trump likes it or not, he is intrinsically tied to the triangle of himself, Prince Andrew, and Jeffrey Epstein. And this, right on the precipice of the No Kings protest coming up on the 18th, Trump is now going to have all of this Epstein push and all of the Epstein client list stuff come right back to the very top of what matters to the American people.
What matters to us, absolutely. Well, now we concerned about these wars that he may be plotting on purpose because he know what's coming. It's coming. Dead wrong. Trump made a massive error in arrogance. I don't know. Yeah, he know it. So it's coming out. He's stalling. And in a minute or two down the line, the evidence they have about Charlie gonna blow their. That's why when they said his base is leaving, absolutely, they see it even when they don't want to. So these Keiths and Kevins and Williams and all of these slow cult followers, you stop coming over here. Yeah, we not slow over here, and don't be mad at us or mad at me because we not slow.
Yes, I think BB is.
Yeah, and maybe, yeah. You think BB, is this yesterday or today? It's a lot going on, y'all. What they said we know was.
This is the end of the age of terror and death. This is the historic dawn.
I don't know if I want to watch this.
Hamas, today, they released 24-year-old musician and pianist.
I think it's going to be short-lived. I mean, I'm happy for the people who SOB AunTeaFee. Yeah. Let me see what this is. It's just so much. And y'all don't have my likes up. And I don't feel like I need to be going the extra mile when y'all can't get these likes up. You know what I mean? What is he saying? Profession? I saw that one guy go off on him, his story. Hold on. How did they violate the ceasefire already? Is this fake? Yeah, I need to stick to who I know. Hold on. How's this release? Let's hear this guy. Oh my God. Now it's telling me to wait. Hold on. Well,
get a taste of the gooey, golden, bite-sized legends that are Culver's Wisconsin cheese curds.
For traveling and commuting, there's no other bag like this one. It brings peace of mind in a set loop.
So you guys aren't going to believe this one. Donald Trump just came out and admitted Israel's disproportionate influence over the U.S. government and his administration. And in this clip, he had a recent speech commending the Gaza ceasefire, in which he not only did that, but he also said his most prominent and infamous donors actually love Israel above the United States, and that's where their loyalties lie. I can't tell you how crazy this is. Let's just get right into it right now. This is a speech, so let's start.
Broken promises from many other American presidents.
Let me put that over here, y'all. My hand is hurting.
You know that they kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on.
Y'all get the likes up. I'm not finna hold this, and y'all not getting the
But
likes.
every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem.
That's why you did yield to the pressure. That's exactly why you did it.
We don't even know if it was real. All of those could be crisis actors.
It's better, guys.
We don't know that. I don't trust nothing they do.
Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up.
I don't believe none they do.
Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got 60 billion in the bank. 60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in.
Still gets in, though.
But they
Still gets in.
were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen.
It gets even better, guys. Oh, wait. The crescendo's coming.
Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country.
This is Israel, by the way.
She loves
Not
this
the
country.
US.
Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman.
Just think of that. Just think of how preposterous that is. Him, basically coming out and admitting the disproportionate influence that the most rich and prominent Zionist donors have on his administration and on his way of doing things, not only boasting about that, but then pointing to Miriam Adelson, who couldn't decide whether she prefers Israel or the United States, remaining silent, and that could mean Israel. This is as big of a mass drop moment for Trump as I've ever seen when it comes to Israel's influence in the U.S. and how much favor Israel curries with the U.S. You know, he listed two of those things, recognizing the Golan Heights, which weren't recognized by the United States since 1967, recognizing that acquisition, which was seized by force by Israel after completing that war, the Six-Day War, and moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, a step that in many ways precludes the enactment of a Palestinian state. You know, that's why he's celebrated by Zion in that regard. But he also pardoned the handler of Jonathan Pollard, a CIA spy who or a Mossad spy who worked at the CIA and sent U.S. secrets back to Israel, which were then sent to the Soviet Union, by the way. He shredded the JCPOA. He started a new war with Iran. The list continues. But what I thought was so striking about this message, outside of how humorous this is, I'm just thinking of, a Zionist control room watching this play out, and they're just kicking the walls, saying, no, Trump, that's the quiet part. That's the quiet part you can't say out loud. How they were able to get into cahoots with you despite the fact that you're the president. You're in demand by so many people. You have so many responsibilities. But somehow these rich Zionist real estate and casino moguls can get right through the front door and influence you and get whatever they want. He boasts about how they're the most frequent visitors to the White House. I can't get over that. This Zionist control room saying, that's the part you're supposed to act out, not talk about. We don't talk about that, Trump. But what's so crazy, guys, is that over the years, people have said, especially the pro-Israel Zionists, that you're just this loony, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist if you say that Israel has disproportionate influence over U.S. politics or over the Trump administration. And then here's Trump coming out in a major speech about the Gaza ceasefire, televised, covered by basically every media agent in the world, saying exactly that Israel and its cutouts Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, have disproportionate influence over the U.S. government and his administration. That is, strikingly telling. It's one of these things where Trump just can't help himself sometimes. It doesn't seem to benefit him. There's no real constituency that benefits from this other than truth seekers, essentially, to go off on this. It's like when he goes off on, saying and bragging and boasting about how he is the architect of Operation Warp Speed and how COVID boosters are so great and we wouldn't have those duplicitous big pharma drugs that we were mandated for a time to inject into ourselves.
Wow.
And if not for the courts, we would have. To boast about being the father of that program. It's the same thing there, but here, the mask drops and you really show your...
Amazon Freight scales with you. Simple booking and 24/7.
Have given Donald Trump more than $337 million.
On the ground say the Palestinians were warned not to sell.
Palestinian territories in Gaza have been returned.
Some were released in Ramallah and Gaza while others were deported to Egypt. Why don't we give you updates on that and more?
Finally, the emotional, just look at this, guys, emotional reunions taking place between those freed hostages and their loved ones that they haven't seen in more than 2 years. Finally coming face to face at a military base in southern Israel. Listen.
We also saw more than 1,700 Palestinians from Gaza who were detained over the course of the war, many of them without charge, being returned to the Gaza Strip. After more than 700 days in Hamas captivity, all 20 living Israeli hostages have been returned to Israel. They have been reunited with family members. And in exchange, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were also released by Israel to Palestine and in some cases deported to other countries like Egypt. Now, let's first begin with the Israeli hostages. There were about 250 of them taken into Gaza on October 7th following Hamas's attack on Israel. About 80 of them have died. Many were released, though, in previous prisoner swaps with Israel. And as I mentioned earlier, 20 of them were released and reunited with their family members in Israel today. Now the remaining 20 living hostages, now that they've been freed, Hamas didn't do any big displays or pageantry like they had in previous hostage releases. And the hostages were brought across the border in vans facilitated by the International Red Cross. You're looking at photos of the hostages who were released today. And obviously those videos of them reunited with their family members is touching. It's a little bit of good news in this endlessly horrific, brutal genocide that's been carried out in Gaza. But, luckily there's something positive to look at today, and you're looking at it right now. Jen.
Yeah. So look, both the hostages and their families lived through an excruciating 2 years. Seeing the moms and the dads hugging their sons who have come back is super emotional. Elated that they're back. We always wanted the hostages back, and we're very glad that they're back now. So that's the 20 Israelis. So now I'm going to spend some time on the 1,700 hostages that Israel took from Gaza. Remember, these are not the 250 prisoners. The prisoners are different.
I'll come back later.
They were convicted. Yes, Israel runs kangaroo courts where the Palestinians are found guilty 99% of the time, and the IDF and the settlers that do violence are found innocent 99% of the time. By the way, those are literal numbers. So they've got courts in the occupied territory. Inside Israel, they do real courts. In the occupied territories, they do total junk, oppressor, kangaroo courts with mock justice. But the 1,700 that were taken hostage by Israel have never had any charges, even in the kangaroo courts. Even the smallest little charge, and it's a 99% conviction rate. They didn't bother with that because they're just full-out hostages. Now, you remember all their plight because American media couldn't stop talking about... American media didn't care about them at all. 1,700 Palestinian hostages to American media meant nothing, zero. All of them combined don't equal one human, not one hostage equivalent, right? Because the American media agrees with Israel. The Palestinians are subhuman. Their 58-year brutal, disgusting, humiliating occupation is irrelevant. And in fact, it's a good thing to be celebrated. Israel needs to be safe. Israel needs to be safe. And they have to oppress everyone around them to be safe. The 1,700 hostages are never taken into account. And Palestinians' lives are murdered, 66,000 at least murdered, 10,000 under the rubble. None of it counts, but the 20 actual human beings, Israelis, those are the humans. The American press and the international press is going nuts. The 20 are back! 20 real human beings, which I agree with. The Palestinians, who cares about them? And by the way, Israel will now take more hostages, because they can take more hostages anytime they want, never have to bring any charges, and the American media will bury it, and the American government will send them a check for it. So that's what happened today.
So I want to just go back to the Israeli hostages for a minute, because as we mentioned, not all of the hostages survived. 20 of the living hostages were returned today. However, Hamas is supposed to also return the remains of the deceased. Now, they did release the bodies of 4 deceased hostages back to Israel. That did cause some outrage because under the terms of the ceasefire deal, let me just be clear, both parties have accepted the first stage of the ceasefire deal. The rest of it remains vague and kind of up in the air. But under what they did agree to, Hamas was supposed to release all 28 bodies. Obviously, they haven't done that yet. But it was understood even before the agreement was signed that retrieving and returning these bodies would be difficult and would likely take days thanks to the destruction in Gaza. Remember, Gaza has been leveled, and while the Israeli government would like you to think that it's okay, it's only going to impact those terrible Palestinians, many of whom happen to be minors. Don't worry, our hostages are going to be okay under heavy aerial bombardment, under a siege, under these starvation conditions that we're implementing and imposing on the Palestinian people. That actually ended up not being the case. So Hamas is apparently trying to find the bodies and return them. And there is an international task force that is going to be charged with recovering the rest of the bodies nonetheless. Now, the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz, said in a statement on X that any delay or deliberate avoidance will be considered a gross violation of the agreement and will be responded to accordingly. Later in the show, we'll talk a little bit more about the tripwires that are kind of baked into this agreement, essentially setting up the Palestinians to fail, for Hamas to, fall on one of those said tripwires and give Israelis the excuse to engage in their campaign of annihilation once again. Now, back to the Palestinian prisoners, Cenk is right. This is a common practice by the Israelis. They tend to just detain Palestinians, keep them in prison without charging them with a single crime. So of the nearly 2,000 Palestinians who were released as part of this deal, the vast majority of them had never been charged with a single crime. 250 of them had been tried and convicted of crimes. So there were 250 prisoners specifically. Some were released in Ramallah and Gaza, while others were deported to Egypt. Reporters on the ground say the Palestinians were warned not to celebrate their release and they were threatened with arrest if they did. So for all of the Israel supporters on social media who are wondering why people aren't celebrating this ceasefire deal, I mean, some people literally can't celebrate because if they do, they're going to have to deal with Israeli terror. So among those not released include prominent Palestinians like Hassam Abu Safia. This is a particularly egregious and disgusting case because he's the former director of the Kamal Adwan Hospital in northern Gaza. He refused to abandon his patients, and he paid a heavy price for that. Israel detained him, and they refused to release him. You also have Marwan Barghouti, a popular leader who was convicted by an Israeli military court of murder charges back in 2004. And again, the other 1,700 people released were Palestinians that had not been taken from Gaza, that had been taken from Gaza by Israeli troops and held without charge. Israeli forces detained thousands of Palestinians during.
So y'all just not gonna hit the like button.
Wendy's original bag is back now with even more full-size sandwiches to choose from. The new spicy chicken sandwich.
If Donald
Trifling.
Trump's political power lies in being able to convince his supporters of anything and everything, then loud public dissent from inside his coalition, from prominent MAGA influencers, might be the thing that will melt his carefully crafted.
So mass Iceman agents struggling to find violent criminals in spite of.
What is starting to happen?
Oh wow!
Is brutal and ugly and clunky and wildly unpopular mass deportation scheme. The sight and the sound and the smells of heavily armed federal agents sweeping up people with no criminal records. Everyone from grandmas to kids, with arrests everywhere from outside of schools to outside of bakeries, even to a Marine base.
Y'all hear this?
Those sights and sounds are proving to be too much for arguably the most influential podcaster.
They are looking for.
It's horrific. When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and
the sight and the sound and the smells of heavily armed federal agents sweeping up people.
The smells.
Public dissent from inside his coalition, from prominent influencers, might be the thing that will melt his carefully crafted alternative fact-based reality faster than the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. And that is exactly what is starting to happen with his brutal and ugly and clunky and wildly unpopular mass deportation scheme. The sight and the sound and the smells of heavily armed federal agents sweeping up people with no criminal records, from grandmas to kids, with arrests everywhere from outside of schools to outside of bakeries, even to a Marine base. Those sights and sounds are proving to be too much for arguably the most influential podcaster in the MAGA adjacent universe, Joe Rogan.
the way it looks is horrific. When you're just arresting.
This is hard for him, y'all.
Just normal, regular people that have been.
It's hard for him.
That everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Right.
Because you have to think, look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yeah.
But when people have been here for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. Let's find a way. If they've been productive members of society for 20 years, no
Mm-hmm.
criminal record, they worked the entire
It took them a while.
They paid taxes. Find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border with drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay.
But they don't make deals with those people.
Because
so they act like they don't want them here, but they do.
Doing this stuff publicly, throwing women to the ground, handcuffing people, just for existing on the wrong side of the dirt.
Yeah.
Not a criminal. Not the only crime they ever committed was coming over here as a kid.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even know what the was going on.
And some of them was born here.
You know, a lot of kids got snuck across when they were already born in Mexico. And they've grown up their entire life in America. They can't even speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And they could get sent back.
What about the ones that was never
that there is, they have been sent
there?
back. They have been sent back already, Joe Rogan. But a new standard there emerging in American politics and in one of the most influential media bubbles in American politics. The Rogan standard is that it is now, quote, heartless if you were for sending anyone back who's been in the country 20 years, anyone other than, quote, terrorists and people coming in with drugs, have an effing heart. And if you do it anyway, you don't have one. But importantly, because he's said things before and we didn't lead with them, he's not alone. Disapproval and unease with Trump's mass deportation scheme extends to some of Trump's most diehard elected supporters as well. Never thought I'd say this, but here's Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene making a lot of sense on a podcast over the weekend.
We have a labor force in America across many industries that has been built on illegal labor. That's a fact. That also cannot be ignored. And as a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say We have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but it's I'm just living in reality.
Hey, Terrence, how are you? Can you do me a favor and hit the like button?
Taylor Greene and Joe Rogan. But if we could have done this on our own.
Just double tap the face of your phone.
This shift in rhetoric and tone.
Please.
These new standards being laid out there. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying it's not living in reality.
Thank you.
To carry out Trump's deportation policy is more than a shift in tone. It's a shift in her position. She owns a construction company, and she's giving voice to people inside Trump's coalition who have the same concerns. Back in May, when a college student who had been raised in her district was due to be deported to Mexico, she was more callous. She hadn't understood what Trump was actually going to do, and she said, quote, "The law is the law." But this is her now. Quote, "I'm not ignoring."
Well, he breaks the law.
So the reality of Trump's mass deportation campaign and how it is impacting every one of us, everyone is going to be touched by it, regardless of who you voted for. If it's starting to sink in, we should note that the administration is about to turn the volume up even louder.
Yeah, but he needs to send his kids.
Brought those two to their conversions in their views on Trump and this policy in city after city after city. It's going to get worse. On Friday, ICE deported the father of a U.S. Marine who was first detained along with his wife at a Marine base outside of San Diego. In Chicago, more than 1,000 people have been arrested since deportation operations began last month, leading to some incredibly harrowing scenes that have put the city and the country and mixed documented families in this country on edge all over the country. Scenes like this one, this video is from
They just out looking for people.
A flower vendor being detained, or authorities conducting a military-style operation on an apartment building in the South Side in which children were zip-tied. And according to one eyewitness, the agent said, "F the kids."
Y'all do know they want those kids over in those foreign countries so that they can take advantage of them like they was doing those hostages.
Trump's Department of Homeland Security claiming that it is arresting, quote, "the worst of the worst," end quote. The brand new reporting from MSNBC blows that lie out of the water, reveals that out of the more than 1,000 arrests made in Chicago, quote, the agency provided detailed information for only 10 men with criminal background, about 1% of those detained, making independent verification difficult.
10 out of the 1,000.
Intra-MAGA backlash to the open cruelty of
Can y'all believe that?
10 campaign is where we start today with some
Oh
of our
my
favorite
God.
reporters and friends. MSNBC senior national and political correspondent Jacob Sobroff is at the table. Plus,
Okay, I see you. You rocking.
MSNBC political analyst.
You kind of funky. I see you funky.
At the table, Tim Miller, MSNBC political analyst, host of the Bulwark podcast. Tim Miller also joins us. Jacob, this is your new reporting. We landed on. Take us through it.
Well, it is heartening, I think, in some measure, to hear the clip you played from Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but he needs to live by example.
I think back when
his kids and grandkids, they not exempt.
Signs said mass deportations now, but they are waking up to the fact that mass deportations are family separation by another name. And anybody who pays any amount of attention to this knows that and has known that for the better part of over a year now, since they were pushing this in the summer at the convention. But now it's actually playing out on the streets all across the country.
Hey, Prime Minister
Chicago,
Chris.
a place where I saw it, and Kay Guerrero, our senior producer, and I spent the better part of a week there last week. We saw over the course of just one day multiple detentions happening of multiple people going.
They got played by a felon. That's what happens when you put a hustler, a liar, and a gangster,
and it is
thief, manipulator,
talk about that apartment building on the
in
South Shore
office.
where they detained 37 people. 8 of those 37 had some form of criminal record. One of them has some association with Tren de Aragua. When we look at Maricela,
Let me just interrupt you. So, who authorized the helicopter to pursue?
Jay-Z was had ties to prisons
the
too.
honest answer is I can't tell you the specific person, but that kind of an operation. Greg Bavino is the chief patrol agent of the Border Patrol.
And I heard Diddy Pierce.
Carry out what they did on the streets of LA, on the streets of Chicago.
Diddy was promised that he
was like
would
seeing the
be
same
out.
scenes play out in almost exactly the same order. First, they come out with literally flashbangs, the type of sort of shock and awe to people on the street would say terrorize the community. And then you see who they're really going after.
Prime Minister Chris, you hit the like button.
53-year-old mother.
Because you know I'm on my way out. If I can't get these likes up, I need 10 real quick. I'm not playing. Y'all know I ended.
Señora, no tiene que decirles nada si tiene papeles. What's your, yes I am, what's your badge number? Are you a United States citizen? I am, are you?
Okay, I'm gonna need you to stay away from here, right?
Señora, ¿cómo se llama?
Hey.
Señora, ¿cómo se llama?
No estoy pidiéndole.
Señora, ¿cómo se llama? Para decirle a su familia. Don't touch me, you're not allowed to touch me. Señora, ¿cómo se llama? Dígame su nombre. Dígame su nombre. Look at guys, look at this fascist, right?
Oh, wow.
See who they're really going after. Like Maricela, the 53-year-old mother, who was just going to buy meat for a stew. And just to remind everybody, we have more reporting about her, but I would love to show everybody a little bit of that detention. Watch this.
Señora, no tiene que decirles nada si tiene papeles.
Hey, ciudadana americana.
What's your, yes I am, what's your badge number?
Are you a United States citizen?
I am, are you?
You are? Okay, I'm gonna need you to stay away from here, right?
Señora, ¿cómo se llama?
Hey.
Señora, ¿cómo se llama?
No estoy pidiéndole.
Señora, ¿cómo se llama? Para decirle a su familia. Don't touch me, you're not allowed to touch me. Señora, ¿cómo se llama? Dígame su nombre. Dígame su nombre. Look at guys, look at this fascist right here. Señora, dígame su nombre. Grítelo. Grítelo otra vez. Grítelo. ¡Ay, se está aquí! ¡No salga!
She was going to buy meat for a stew, as we talked about last week. And
Why wouldn't the agent just tell the why is taking people away and keeping them anonymous part of their protocol?
Because that is what they want people to see. The show of force is the point. Adam Serwer said the cruelty is the point. Letting people see this is the point. They want these images to be out.
Oh, no lights, ice allowed in Rochester?
So then why are they telling people to get away?
Because
he didn't
I think
party.
that what they don't want is for people to actually
He didn't pardon Diddy
so that they can have
because
this type of content to show the world.
people
and so
would say
70%
something.
Of people in ICE detention have no
And
criminal
Diddy threatened him
when
to
they said they're
expose
gonna
him.
have the worst of the worst. And you said it, 10 people is who they provided evidence for out of the 1,000 detained since the beginning of September in Chicago.
Yep, Diddy threatened to expose him. Where my light said, I'm finna have to go, y'all. I'm about woo-wee.
Bad news. Your business is only using 20% of its
Now, if I don't get these 10 likes after this one, I'm out of here for real.
How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy Combs, people are saying, reporting that you are furious at your legal team. Y'all, get in here. We got to talk. They're also saying that Diddy is anxious and depressed about the prison sentence. I mean, is anybody happy to go to prison? But more importantly, Diddy is not anxious and depressed about the prison. He's anxious and depressed about going broke, and this is said to have thrown a monkey wrench in his appeal plans. Y'all sit down. We gotta talk because, baby, it looks like this money train that Diddy is on is drying up, and he is begging for quietly, this is what the streets are saying, for any of his high-powered friends that couldn't stand beside him in the courtroom to maybe let him hold 50,000, 5 million or more, so that he can go with his plea. Okay, you guys.
Go with his what?
A lot, but let's break this
Go
down
with his what?
one at a time. All right.
Go with his what?
Let's talk about that sentencing, right? Begging for quietly, this is what the streets are saying, for any of his high-powered friends that couldn't stand beside him in the courtroom to maybe
he need a loan.
50,000, 5 million or more, so that he can go with his plea. Okay, you guys, we got into a lot, but let's break this down one at a time. All right. First of all, let's talk about that sentencing, right? Because as much as Diddy's team wanted to be like, he didn't have a speaking engagement, he had a speaking appearance, and they tried to spin it. You did have speaking engagements planned, and you had speaking engagements planned for that Monday. Now, why would he do something so stupid? Because in my mind, I'm like, that's just disrespectful to the court.
Ruby Red, get your ass up out of here.
And across the street waiting to pick you up. It's just unnecessarily disrespectful. But why did he do that?
Sleaze. I bet you is a sleazy slut.
Because they promised him that he would.
Y'all say by the sleazy slut.
Now, here's the thing. I think Diddy might have heard them wrong, because I don't think any lawyer of that caliber in any way would be like, absolutely 100%. You're going home. And even if they did, Diddy, why would you believe them? You've allegedly spent somewhere between 10 and 20 million for the trial. Pre-trial, going forward, each lawyer had a retainer of at least $1 million. And the bigger ones had even more. And that was just the retainer, baby. They blew through that money. Diddy had about 7 lawyers plus their paralegals. His appeal lawyers, that's 3 more. Now you're up to 10. Easily retainers, 10 million off the bat. And that is on the low end. And that's not even counting billable hours. And Diddy has been fighting this thing for a while. Now you got what you paid for, because you could have been sitting there on RICO charges. You should be thanking God that you only got 3 years. But Diddy thinks he is a god. He thinks he is a king. So he's still, even though
don't be retracting nothing now.
I'll take any punishment you give me. Just let me see my kids. And he said, all right, mofo, I'll show you some mercy. You got 4 years, right? And Diddy literally, his lawyers went outside and showed their patooties and said, this is a travesty. The judge was the 13th juror. Thank God, because, baby, the first 12, I don't think they got it right. Anyway, right? Let's get back into this. Anyway, so Diddy is super, super, super upset. They literally said, listen, according to an Inquirer, they said Diddy's in total shock right now. A source tells me who was sentenced.
He is shocked for what?
Right?
Imagine how them females was feeling when you was doing what you was doing.
5 years probation. Even though, side note, if I was Diddy, I would be
he was shocked.
Probation. More than anything, because let me tell you something, the federal government don't leave well enough alone. Diddy has addiction issues, right? And everybody knows you can get rugs in jail. You're going to need something to get you through, and you did it for fun. You're gonna come up and do
but look here, Diddy. Let me tell you something, man. Don't you go up in that. In there taking them type of drugs and it have you doing, man, you better stay drug free up in that prison, because they are waiting on you. They are waiting on you. I tell you now, they tapping on the wall.
You're gonna have a few low-life losers, right, standing by you, but they was losers to begin with. You didn't want to be associated with them. You wanted to be standing next to Ron Burkle, Jay-Z, the DNC, right? You wanted to be there with the community, speaking out, being a civil. You wanted to be on some grown, sexy, respected mess. All these low-lives defending you right now, you didn't even want them around you when you was out free. So you definitely don't want to be associated with them now. Okay, right? So, but then also, okay, he is into some mess. He likes the escorts. He likes the party life. For 5 years, you cannot have another freak off. Or if you do, they're going to have to turn into consensual freak-offs. If you even step the wrong foot, raise a hand at someone, try to do anything illegal, all they got to do is go report you to the police, and baby, you are bye. See, here's the thing. People are coming down for Judge Aaron in the sentence, but y'all, the devil is in that 5 years probation. Because I think Diddy's going to be up to his old tricks.
Yep.
You know? I mean, hopefully these 3 years are enough.
No, but he got more charges coming.
A lot of issues he has are like,
again, Florida has not been brought to him yet.
Time will tell, okay? So anyway, but that 5 years, baby, the government's going to be on his ASS. Anyway,
and nobody still don't want to tell this man that he is going to have to well, maybe that's why he upset. Y'all think they done told him he gonna have to register? We done paid up to 15 mil, and you mean to tell me, y'all know I'm finna hear that I'm still gonna have to go to prison. What in the heck did I pay y'all for? Y'all took all my money. And I don't have nothing for my kids. Now I'm finding out I'ma have to register as a sex offender too. When was y'all gonna tell me this shit wasn't going in my favor? Now I'm sitting here getting letters from men in the federal penitentiary telling me hurry up and come home, baby. I am a bad boy too. I got something for you. Will you be my girlfriend? Check yes or no. Will you be my prison girlfriend? I won't tell nobody when you leave. Your secret safe with me. I heard you like it freaky. And I can only imagine the things I'ma do to you. Will you be my girlfriend? Please check off yes. We gonna make some beautiful music together. I got some high notes for you. Sing to daddy in his ear. I love to hear you singing in my ear. Dance, baby girl, dance. I ain't no good, am I? He didn't know his ass was going to have to register. These motherfuckers done took all my money. Trump brought me in, fucked up my head. Once they did it to me, I had to do it to someone else. They said I would be protected, and he left me high and dry. My, oh my, my, oh my. I don't know what to do. I never thought I'd be here. Oh Lord, oh Lord. They say I need to call on the Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Please help me out. Lord, Lord, Lord. I I need one of them miracles. I know now I can't play with you. I know now you are Alpha and Omega. Lord, please forgive me. Because they calling my name in my head, in my dreams, and in the toilet. I feel like the devil is chasing me in my dreams. He got some new charges out there. Oh, Lord. I didn't want to acknowledge them charges. Oh, Lord. I needed to get out before they hit. They told me. Oh, yeah, they knew. Oh, yeah, they knew. Oh, yeah, they knew. Yeah, they knew. I feel like they screwed me the way I was screwing everybody else. They cheated me out my money. Yeah, the same way I cheated others. I guess this is my karma. And it is whooping my... Say it with me. It's whooping is what? Yeah, let's finish.
Total shock right now. He really believed he'd get out with time served. His lawyers promised. Adds another
They promised.
Noting that Diddy was just he has are like, oh, they seem like compulsions. But you know, time will tell. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
So anyway, but that 5 years.
Where my orange juice, y'all? Where my orange juice?
Anyway, they said Diddy's in total
breaking.
Right. He really believed he'd get out with time served. His lawyers promised.
Oh, Lord.
Adds another source, noting that Diddy was so confident that he'd be a free man again that he booked a speaking gig for the week after a sentencing hearing. First of all, everybody's misquoting that.
And
I heard.
I bet you it was that girl that was in there crying. That's why she was sitting there stunned. She was there standing there looking dumb as hell. Who booked it? Who promised it? Who didn't tell him no? Don't do that. Diddy. If you do that, I'm leaving, cause I don't want to deal with the aftermath. No sir, no sir. Who was it? That Westmoreland chick? Let me hear you.
In court, it wasn't just one speaking engagement. He had a tour planned.
A whole tour.
Tour planned.
He needs to make some money.
Sure, he was going to write a book, make a movie, have a comeback. I wouldn't say throw a Madison Square Garden show, but to do what?
Don't call it a comeback.
The Love album, and they can't. And you saw what happened with the Bad Boy reunion tour. Ain't nobody coming in here. He was coming for.
Boo! They booed him.
Now get this. Diddy was so confident. They said now all his plans are in limbo, adding that his rumored comeback tour and all the other deals he had
a comeback tour
on hold. On hold? How about they just crumbled to dirt? They just covered.
And Trump left you.
Dirt. Now here's the thing. They're saying that Diddy is completely worried about running out of money, right? Because he has nearly 70 civil lawsuits. While his criminal suit, they're saying costs anywhere between 15 to 20 million in legal fees. This is what the New York Post reported.
Oh, it's still going up.
Coming out of jail totally broke. Now here's the thing.
How you spend 15, 20 million and your ass still in jail?
Because when you go for bail, the one thing a lot of people overlooked in that bail hearing, but if y'all are new to my channel, listen, let me catch y'all up. Because if you aren't new to the channel, I've been talked about this. When you go on bail, you actually see what people's liquid assets are. Now, don't get me wrong. Diddy got 2 mortgages on that $30,000 house, $30 million house in California.
He can't sell it.
Star Island, both properties are worth like $50 million. A lot. He got that jet. He's renting it out. He got a few cars. Yes, he has assets. But anybody that with assets know assets cost money to maintain. And a lot of rich people lose everything because they buy stuff, but they don't have the liquid assets to maintain it. What are a person's liquid assets Well, that's what Diddy needs right now, to pay his lawyers, to fund his kids' lifestyle, to keep Miami and them on payroll. I mean, Miami says she's not single. She started taking like Instagram live calls from people in jail. I think she's trying to prep for her man to keep him afloat. Even though you putting this much effort into keeping Diddy's afloat, and you calling it love, why don't you just work on your, like, go film some more episodes of Carisha, please. But, you know,
can he just... So, like, I'm just asking. I really don't know. So, since he is a SCX offender, he can't have, like, them jailhouse free calls. Can't nobody, I mean, so she can't even send him a picture of her cooch or no, he can't have none of that. You can't talk nasty to him on the phone or none of that shit. That's a violation. Let them hear her talk about putting something somewhere and rubbing something down his he can't, he has to imagine it in his head. She can't say it. He can't have no freaky deaky calls. She can't send him no pictures. So she can't get off trying to get him off. She said, oh no, we through. Oh no, you know, it was good while it lasted. I tried to have your back, boo, but what? I can't talk nasty. I can't say, oh, I wish, I can't say titties either. I can't. So you a real sex offender. They won't let you call me for 2 months. I can't call, what? So you a sex offender in prison too? That's why you should have stopped. You didn't have no self-control. So that's what happens.
None of my business. Let's get back on Diddy, right?
No, yeah, not my business either.
So Diddy needs money to keep everything.
Woo!
He got 11 kids, according to him in court. He support all of them, right? He got cute little baby.
You better get your back child support, man.
He got.
Listen, did it, did it. You know, me and you ain't cool, but look, dude, you need to see, since you've been having all your kids, you may want to see if you can get some back child support. I know that sound ethnic, man, but you gotta do what you gotta do, dude. How else you gonna make some money? Huh? I mean, you know, you was big pimping. Hell, you may be able to pimp for... that's what... You can't... Oh, no. Oh, no, don't do that. I'm sorry. My bad. Let's keep going.
Thing is, when he put up his bail, he only had $50 million to give in bail. And I know, hear me out, $50 million is a lot of money.
Don't wear these perfumes if you don't like
Oh
them.
my God.
Everyone has been talking about all of these perfumes.
I don't know why they keep...
$50 million is a lot of money. Oh, one day to have $50 million in my bank account. No Diddy. But the thing is, with big money, big assets, come big bills. That $50 million is all the liquid cash that Diddy has. All of it. All the brand deals, all the endorsements, all the trademark. Don't forget Diageo or whatever, the liquor company, they cut him off. Revolt, right? They cut him off too. All of his cash avenues, his everything has slowed down. So he got $50 million to make it work. Now out of that $50 million, he's already spent $20 million, roundabout, on legal fees. Now,
and he's still in prison.
Is that appeal ever going to happen? Because I brought this up on live. Appeals take 2 years, usually on average, to get in front of a court. Diddy, once you add in time served and time off for good behavior, that's anywhere
Look at
between
here,
2 and
Diddy.
2.5 years.
Diddy. Let me say this. You know, I'm tired of laughing at you, dude, but let me say this. Really and truly. You need to come to Jesus. arriving. You need a real come to Jesus moment. Okay? You need to talk to Big G. Sincerely. Don't go in there trying to hustle him, fast talking the prayers. You need to really surrender to him and ask him to heal you on the inside while you're in there. Renew the right spirit within you. Correct your mindset in your way. Ask God to allow you to see you a wretch undone, not as Diddy, not as Daddy and all that, as Sean Combs. Yeah, you need to start asking God to make you whom he desires you to be, not who you want to be. Yeah. You really need to ask God to reform you, to make you over. Not with the same old, not as bad boy, none of that. You need to let that go. Okay? Then you need to really, sincerely apologize to not just the girls, but all the people, the men, women, kids, Wendy, all these people that you have, Jamie, Albie, all of them. Spiritually reach out to Kim Porter. You gotta own all of that. Not with no if I did something. No, the minute you say if, it ain't sincere. You know what you did. And although we don't want to face our sins, our what is it called? Transgressions. Yeah, we got to call it what it is. You were a liar. You was deceitful. Yeah, you all of that. You didn't have not a love in your heart for none of them. You did not care about nobody but yourself. You didn't even care about God. And you really need to apologize. I took it all for granted. I had no regards for nobody. I was really floating. I had made deals with the devil, because you made one with Trump. I mean, sir. Yeah. And God says to confess it. Then you can begin to correct and heal and become a better person. Because right now you still trying to hustle. You still trying to think you can smooth talk. You can da-da-da-da-da. You thought that you had gave these people enough. You had paid off enough people. You done paid off jurors. You done paid off a whole bunch of people. Now you don't have no money, and you still going to jail, and you still going to have to register. Now, it could have been worse. So if it's anything you could hold on to, you could say, Lord, it could have been worse. So thank you. I'm going to count it all joy. But Lord, I just need for you to help me through this. I mean, you got to turn all of that around, dude. Now, don't say I ain't never gave you nothing for free. Because next time I'm going to have to charge it. Now, I'm giggling, but I'm serious. You need a real come to Jesus. And you in there now. Ain't nothing you can do. Yeah. And you know they waiting on you. And Suge Knight say, dude, you finna have to fight a uck. I'm finna have to what? You finna have to fight her up. So be in there swinging and punching. You know, build your arms up. But you need to have a come to Jesus moment. And you need to talk that out. Talk that out. 101. Yeah. Okay, good people. I'm finna go. I'll be back later on tonight if I don't fall asleep, okay? Thank you. I can't, you know, Diddy played himself. And I'm saying that because he got some more cases coming. And I'm going to talk about them. Yeah. But in the meantime, you still need to own that. Stop lying to yourself and stop letting these people, you know, continue to lie for you. Because the more you lie, the more they coming. Because you itching and moaning, and it could have been longer. And you done destroyed some people's lives. And Florida still ain't came yet. Florida coming. If dumbass over there don't get us killed, hell, that may be, I don't know. He know he in there, and he know these people that he making these deals with are in there too. Okay, y'all, I gotta go.